Hello friends, operator Starsky with a daily update from Kyiv, Ukraine. Today it's been day 490 of the terror Russian invasion. I'm sure that on day 500 the statistics will be updated, but as of today we know about more than 4,000 destroyed Russian tanks, 4,700 artillery systems and MLRS, and 7,800 armored vehicles lost by the Russian invaders since the start of the invasion. And majority of those were confirmed by Oryx, which does open source analysis. In the beginning of the war, Ukraine only had approximately 800 functioning tanks, but the liars just keep reporting tens of thousands of vehicles and troops eliminated by the Russian terrorists, probably because in the Russian fantasy world there's some kind of portal to another dimension, that breeds hordes of Ukrainian defenders. The truth is, the Russian army is simply highly inefficient, corrupted and outdated, also demoralized, and the only two things that make them dangerous is, of course, all the machines produced many years ago by the Soviet Union, and the second thing is absolute despise towards the laws of war, all the atrocities, terrorist mindset, and the ideology of the Russian supremacy called the Russian world. It was reported yesterday that exactly a year after a Russian missile hit a mall in Kramatorsk downtown, killing 20 civilians, the Russians hit the city once again. Also, Kramatorsk was hit yesterday evening. The Russian missile destroyed a local pizzeria full of civilians. Unfortunately, 11 civilians died, more than 60 injured. Among the victims, there were plenty of children who were killed and wounded. Multiple countries condemned the deliberate terrorist Russian strike on civilians, which unfortunately makes no sense because you can't reason with the murderers. This morning, the Security Service of Ukraine reported that the coordinator for the Russian strikes on Kramatorsk was found and arrested by the special forces. Croatia joined 26 countries of the world that recognized the Holodomor of 1932 and 1933 as a genocide of the Ukrainian nation, the artificial famine caused by the Russian communists to eliminate the Ukrainian ethnicity became one of the worst cases of the ethnic cleansing of the 20th century, killing between 4 and 10 million Ukrainians who died from hunger and diseases, while the Russian NKVD soldiers were executing people who tried to harvest grain to survive and feed their families. The Holodomor was committed as a response to more than 3,000 revolts and uprisings against the Russian communists that were considered by the Ukrainian people as occupiers and invaders. Considering that the modern Russian invaders keep snatching Ukrainian grain, like stored in the docks of the occupied Berdyansk, the mindset of the Russian terrorists saw no evolution in the past 100 years. The international war criminal Putin made a statement about the Russian terrorist organization Wagner.
Я уже сказал по поводу Вагнера. Я сказал, что российское государство к этому не имеет никакого отношения. Говорит совершенно ответственным, без всяких...
Wait a second, guys. I'm so sorry. That's an old video showing Putin in 2022. Here's the statement he made this year.
Содержание всей группы Вагнер полностью обеспечилось государством. Из Министерства обороны, из государственного бюджета мы полностью финансировали эту группу.
And that's why there's absolutely no sense in talking to maniacs. Because first they tell you that the Russian troops were not involved in the annexation of Crimea, then they award the Russian military for the Crimean operation, then they say Russia is not gonna invade, then they start the biggest war in Europe in the past 70 years, and basically they go down in history for being liars and terrorists. I'd like to end this video on a positive note, so I'm happy to tell you that the Polish President Andrzej Duda made an unplanned visit to Kyiv, and it's always delightful to see our friends because we can't really travel abroad nowadays. One of my good friends, former Polish border guard, Pan Bochański from Grodzisk, told me this motto, za naszą I waszą wolność, which means for our and your liberty. And the reason the world supports Ukraine is because the countries that had to fight for their liberty can truly appreciate freedom. My name is Operator Starsky. As always, be safe.